What's up, guys? It's MMA here with a full event recap of UFC 317. International Fight Week has came and now has passed. And let's get into that main event because, I'm feeling a lot of emotions. This card was amazing. I was a little bit down on what we were promised, kind of promised, what we were expecting versus what we got, but everything came through. Everyone's saying Joshua Van versus Brandon Royval would be fight of the night. And, of course, I was saying that too. I mean, did it over-deliver? I mean, whatever you could expect, easily doubled it. Holy shit, what an amazing card. Let's get into this main event, though. Let me start off with, what are ways I can discredit Ilia right now? Because we could be talking about the lightweight division's a little old. Featherweight, there's a bit of a skill gap maybe there. But we did see also Volkanovski go up and not have the best of time. So maybe it is also a stylistic difference. Maybe Charles has taken a lot of damage. But past things like that, oh man, what did Ilia just do? In the grappling exchange, that was still very impressive. So Ilia starts off working his jab heavy. Of course, his power shots are his big left and right hook. Maybe we're seeing the new Mirko. Maybe we're left hook hospital, right hook cemetery, something like that. Because holy, was it left hook on Holloway, right hook on Volk? And a left right on Charles. I mean, if you're not going to survive one, how are you surviving both? But let's start off how the fight started. Not much to talk about. The total fight was only 2 minutes and 27 seconds. That grappling exchange near the first minute where Charles goes for a throw, Ilia keeps his hips nice and far back, nice and stable, ends up on top in guard, passes from guard to side control, or a little pass side control, more controlling the neck, near like a kind of a scarf hold position, but then passes from that into crucifix. It's like, holy, the glaze is going to start pouring out. That sounded worse than I thought it would, but it was just super impressive. But then Charles Oliveira turns it into a scramble, into a leg lock attempt, which at no point did it look seriously in. There was threats where it's like, this could turn into something, but it was never something, whoa, man, he could tear his leg up. I'm sure Joe Rogan might have been saying that, but Ilia works his way. They reset a bit because this fight did start at a crazy pace. Charles Oliveira was pushing constantly forward. And that's what Poirier said. Charles needs to push forward heavy like he did against me. And it did work in some exchanges. There was a point where he walked forward, hit a nice uppercut on Ilia because he was the shorter guy, or a nice straight walking forward. But most of the time, Ilia was just working on a jab and landing some nice counters. There were some nice leg kicks, some nice kicks back and forth. But after that whole leg lock exchange, Charles was let back up. They go back and forth here a bit. And by the way, that cut on Charles, this was a very, very bloody night for cuts. But Ilia already had Charles marked up quite a bit. For what time had passed, Charles looked a little bit beat up. That final exchange happens. Left hook. He was out on the first shot. Gets hit. I don't know if it's the right hook or left hook first, but whatever lands first. Another one lands again on the way down. 2 more follow-up shots because the fight isn't over till it's over. We saw that with Gregory Rodrigues hammering Jack Hermansson's unconscious body into the ground. Love how it has to be the nicest people possible. Charles Oliveira and fucking Jack Hermansson. Nothing negative ever coming out of them. Charles Oliveira, Mr. Humanitarian, giving back to the favela, just having his head fucking clambered and boom, boom, over and over again. Kind of sad to watch, but to be living in this era, brings me chills. It's as if we were watching. I don't want to overglaze to say, because if I say, we're living through when GSP made his climb up for Anderson Silva, I would almost say Anderson Silva because we're seeing this guy outstrike every single person he's fought, and also got a title shot off not too impressive of a win. I know Silva's was a lot quicker than Ilia's, but more what I'm trying to say is live in this fucking moment. Oh my god, this is the McGregor. It is as much as it is kind of cringe. Bro, stop trying to be McGregor, dude. You're trying to look up. You're trying to do everything McGregor did. Make your own style. It's like. It's not so much he is taking everything from McGregor as it is the rise he has. Like, the level of fights is finish after finish. And these are fucking meteoric performances. And it's one of those fights where, okay, we saw Tracy Cortez, our usual fight. Maybe scratch my nuts and go on Instagram Reels. This fight is making me shake, tweak out. Damn fight. I'm fighting the leg lock myself in person. The level of stardom we're getting, and this isn't even the peak of it. Nowhere near. We have not even touched that Islam fight. Fuck the JDM. Let JDM get established in his own division. Let Ilia versus Islam happen. Islam beats Ilia, cool. Make JDM versus Islam. Let him beat him up. If Ilia beats Islam, what would someone going for a third belt mean? I don't want to describe the bodily functions that would happen to me if that was ever announced, but just what we're seeing with Ilia is outstanding. It's just, what's amazing about it too is what we get to see in the fight is nowhere near the deepest level of his tool bag, right? And sure, maybe we see him go against Islam, the fight goes longer, he gets pressed, he gasses out because he's not built for lightweight, shit like that. Sure, that could always happen. He could get out muscled. Then again, get out muscled. He just out muscled Charles Oliveira the way Islam did. And I know Islam didn't get in a weird leg lock scenario, so it's a weird one-on-one comparison, sure. But what was the point I was originally making? Yes, this is Charles. Actually, I want to move on and talk about Charles, because where does he go from here? Because he is 35, 36 on the end of his career. Does he need more? No. He has cemented everything he needs to be amazing. Maybe retire. Maybe I do want to end off on a win. Maybe we don't need a Jose Aldo-esque retirement order. It's just sad and leave it on that note. We need make a Brazil card. Maybe he's nowhere near retirement though. Maybe I'm calling it too early. But I mean, what are we fighting for at this point? That's more what I mean. He has every bonus. He has every record he needs. I want to get onto the Joshua Van fight. I think let this fight marinate before matchmaking is starting. There's so many different ways this could go. Imagine Ilia is a 3-time champ though. How crazy would that be if he gets to move up? Moving on, Alexandre Pantoja versus Kai Kara-France. I don't get all the Kai Kara-France hate. As he's a bit of a cockroach. I'm more mean in the way he survives. I was very impressed in past fights how he survived back takes and stuff like that. And I kept saying, bro, look, he fights off the back so well. And I will say that was very impressive. That whole fucking fighting spirit from that whole New Zealand, Oceania, that whole range of fighters down there. They don't give up and choke. Maybe Adesanya, but so no shots fired. But Volkanovski and Kai Kara-France, they fought to the bitter end of that. I mean, not bitter end for Volk. He made it out, but Kai Kara-France, jeez. So you see some people, the rear naked choke, they're posturing their hand to get ready to tap. I thought we were about to see that. Hell no, that hand goes right back. I pull that shit back. This back hand. Pull that shit. And he kept pulling, fighting that other hand over and over and over and over. And by the time he was ready to tap, he goes out. And that's the only time you should be ready to tap. When the color's fading and it's over and there's no more fight left to give. That's it. Perfect. Especially in a title fight. And that's what I love from Kai Kara-France. He put every ounce of fight he had in this fight, and it showed. Alexandre Pantoja, I almost called him Alexandre Topuria. Wrong one, but the pressure and pace he was fighting at was very impressive. He must have saw the last fight and go, fuck you, I need a bonus too. Didn't get one, but bonuses very much made sense. And Dana also said a lot of people got taken care of. So, also, actually we'll get to it with Royval later, but Kai Kara-France had a really bad habit of unorthodox ducking his head to the far down and far right. And you saw Pantoja is the same read as the Moreno fight with Kai Kara-France. Body kick. And Pantoja already had a really well-established body kick before this fight, but it just played dividends into this fight a lot. And then you saw Kai Kara-France ducking over and over on that side. Pantoja switched that kick to the knee, and the knee was working heavily. Two nice little blitzing hooks from Pantoja. He would also leg kicks, doubling up on that leg kick was very impressive. But how he was able to overwhelm Kai Kara-France in these longer exchanges. Oh, big exchange. A lot is happening. It's against the fence now. I'm in a doubling. I'm in a single. And he only hit 3 out of 6 takedowns. But he made very good use of the takedowns he did hit. Kai Kara-France was very impressive the way he was able to scramble on the ground. In the first round, gets his back taken super early after a big blitz. Against probably top 3 back takers in the UFC right now, back finishers in the UFC. I mean, who the fuck is doing it this consistently, this well? But at this level, but takes his back. Okay, Kai Kara-France fights it good, defensive good, switches it, gets out, turns into an arm triangle, tight arm triangle in the first round, very dry, fights out of that, and I was like, wow, we got a fight on our hands. And there was a very, very live fight on their hands. 2 sub attempts, a good amount of significant strikes. Not in comparison to the last fight, but we need Pantoja versus Van. Winner of that fight, it gets the move up. Not win. Sorry, if Van wins that, he does not get to move up. But Pantoja win that, he gets to move up. Rip Beneil Cop doesn't get any chance at all to move up. Cocker-France should probably fight Royval in a rematch. That fight was very fun when it first happened, so why not just run that shit back? It's been a while since they fought too, back in the COVID days, and now we're in 2025. And both should take some time off too, because not as much Cocker-France, but Royval, god damn, he provided for his fans. May I just move on? I'm just going to move on, because as much as that co-main event was good, we have a fight of the year to talk about. 200 strikes per fighter. God damn. Royval. So the first minute of this fight happens. And here, we'll go right around this. First minute of this fight happens. Royval is fighting very strong from the outside. Leg kicks, jabs, teeps to the body. Working it, feigning a lot of knees, throwing a lot of knees later on in the fight where Joshua Van's coming in and clashing. Working his jabs and straights. They got sat behind more later on. It was more of a feel out that first minute. And he was starting to get outlanded. Royval was getting ahead, and Joshua Van's like, I feel the timing, I feel the speed, I just gotta go for it, because I'm not gonna let this shit slip away. And he does. And this round, and for a lot of this fight, it just felt like Royval keeping the numbers was big, but Joshua landing bigger shots was bigger. That's the big difference. And especially, I feel so bad for Royval just getting dropped, and just the statement that made in the third round, and especially in the first, he didn't get dropped like in a knockdown sense at all, but there was moments where he's hit by a jab and he falls backwards off balance. The visuals are such a fucked thing in super close fights where it's like, did he do more damage? Maybe not, but he just kind of knock down the guy, kind of not. It just looks visually bad. You get hit with the jab and go flying across. But after Royval starts working his jab straight early, Joshua Van does a good job of going over the top with his right. And actually, I'll talk about the last fight. One more thing about Cocker-France. He did a really good job in other fights of going over in the clinch with a straight, and Pantoja did an amazing job of negating that and negating a lot of what Cocker-France did good. But anyways, back on this fight. Joshua Van did a good job of, he didn't do as much long combinations. When it did get long, actually, we'll talk about this fight as a whole, because, oh my god, I'm going to get lost in the sauce round by round. But when the combinations did get long, it was more when it was clinching and Joshua Van kind of didn't accept Royval's knees, but went on a fair trade-off of being able to block them and staying tight while still landing a bunch of nice body hooks over and over and over again. Small moments like that were very big in this fight. Joshua Van's in the second and third, not Joshua Van's, Royval's jab and straight were looking fantastic. Oh my god. The second he started laying out that straight and jab in the second, and there's this nice long combo around the 2-minute point of that fight where Joshua Van boom, head snap sack, boom, head snap sack, and a nice another shot, another straight from Jan, and Royval's like, okay. I'm sorry, Van's like, okay, time to reset. And what you saw, what is amazing, okay, you could put prime Niko Price with any fucking bonobo ape in the world. That sounds really, I didn't even mean it that way. I'm not comparing him to I'm just saying because Niko Price fights like a fucking, let's say Battle of Hell. You could put him against any other person who fights like an absolute idiot. No offense to Niko Price. And it'll be an amazing fight no matter what. Niko Price can win a bonus any day of the week. The way he fights, right? Or maybe the way he used to fight in comparison now. Sure, that's entertaining. But when you have guys like Joshua Van and Brandon Royval throw down, and it's technique and bro, got me coming out of both ends. Dude, that shit is so fun. Because you see Joshua Van hit, his eyes are staying open during the combination. Sure, jab hits out, but right back focus. There's not a point where he hits and he goes, oh, time to play it on the back foot and reset. No, it's like, let me get my fucking lick back now. Let me show you what's up. You hit me with a nice 1-2. How about I hit you with a fucking harder one? How about I show these judges that is my fucking fight? This is my octagon. Oh my god! And the momentum you can see in their footwork heavily. The way they're Royval backing him up. Okay. Joshua Van now it's like, oh, let me get my head moving on the outside of the bow. Oh my god, I'm gonna do a backflip right now. It's so entertaining. And you felt in the third round, you felt the tenseness, like, oh my god, Joshua Van's walking forward in this fight. Holy fuck, 167 shots were landed in round 3. What? But yeah, Joshua Van's big knock. So round 1 goes to Joshua Van's just off bigger moments, and I guess outstriking him. It didn't feel like he outstruck him live, but definitely in hindsight gets caught up. Round 2, Brandon Royval pulls ahead just off using a lot of jabs, a lot of straights. Knees in between the moments when Joshua Van was getting a lot closer. His kicks were working heavy too. What Joshua Van did amazing in the third round too was working into knee stomps. He had leg kicks here and there. And by the way, he had a broken big toe going into this, which is damn. And just fought Bruno Silva 4 weeks ago, accepted this fight on 3 weeks' notice. And that's why Brandon Royval, by the way, got paid his win bonus to this, because he accepted a fight on 3 weeks' notice against the number 12 guy, way down in the division. Felt super disrespected, and shout out to Dana for paying him his full win bonus. He deserved it. He earned it. I mean, they earned a lot more than that, and I think they got a lot more than that. But Joshua Van switching up with leg attacks, nice knee stomps, and it was kind of holding Brandon Royval back from. Joshua Van would push forward, and then when it was Brandon Royval's momentum to come back and start pushing Van forward, he did a good job, especially in the last 2 minutes, with his knee stomp. Knee stomp, like, keeping on his back foot, timing when Royval was going to come in, and then he kind of got to dictate when the big exchanges happen in round 3, and that is massive when we're 1-1 and a winner takes all in the third, and you get to dictate when the big moments are happening. And I'm saying this as if Joshua Van was such a blow in the third. It was so back and forth until that final knockdown. Oh my god. Anyone who hasn't seen it, watch it, and then watch it over again, and then watch it for a third time, and then keep watching it, because oh my god, if Joshua Van was already, like, he should have been on everyone's radar, but chef kiss to this fight. But moving on, not as entertaining fights in comparison, but we'll get through them. Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. Pretty back and forth in the first round. Beneil Dariush was winning early on. Nice leg kicks, nice body kicks. Their boxing exchanges were a bit sloppier. It was they would go back and forth with their footwork, but then when the boxing exchanges happened, they were more planted and relying more on headwork where they were stationed. And that kind of got Beneil caught with what he was doing, because they're going back and forth. Beneil was winning the round, and then at the end, instead of throwing 1-2, Moicano throws jab, delay, wait for the reaction, then the 2, dropping Beneil. Beneil goes for recovery mode for the last 40 seconds, rides at the round 2 happens. Also, I thought Beneil should have retired, by the way. Beneil wins this fight by decision. I thought this is the perfect stay on top. But if he needs the money, he needs the money. I think he would make an amazing coach, though. You see how strong. By the way, round 2 happens. Beneil shoots a takedown. Amazing top control. Dominates Moicano off grappling. Not dominates in a 10-8 sense, but just dominates on how the control was taking place in this. Moicano gets back up, gets taken right back down. And what I was saying about Beneil Dariush being a coach, this is what he needs to be. Any grappling coach, he deserves to be it. Gets on top again in round 3, rushes the back take, falls off. Moicano rushes the back take, falls off. Not nowhere near close, by the way. Then striking happens, and Beneil is just in the lead with striking. He's letting a nice body kick, nice leg kicks that worked in round 1 were working again. They look both pretty tired. More Beneil than Moicano for me. Joe Rogan wouldn't shut up. Oh man, they look so tired. And then there's like these fucking elegant grappling exchanges going on, and they're waffling about some random thing that has to do with the fight, but nowhere near the most important thing that's happening live. But Dariush is just doing more. Moicano gets his big moment in the last 30 seconds and decides to shoot a takedown. It was just not the smartest decision making from Moicano. It felt more like a tired, not knowing what to do, hole in the wall kind of, let's go for this kind of thing. Good win for Dariush. Not much to talk about in the fight. Not much to pick where either of them go from this, because Dariush is old. He's happy to see this, but if he's getting dropped, Moicano's 1-2. And Moicano's 1-2 strong, but I know it's early on in the fight, so I can make it whatever excuse. But how did I go on picks? I went so good on picks tonight, like every night. Oh my god, Payton Talbott. I'm so happy I picked him as the underdog. I just see now what I picked on. Not at all how it went. I picked on Payton Talbott being the more poised, which he was. He was very much, actually, somewhat. I did pick right, because I thought he was going to be more controlled, more patient, and he was. Felipe Lima was making some very dumb, immature mistakes. But by the way, the older guy by a year, I know they're both young, but Payton Talbott looks so much more experienced with how he was fighting. A smaller record too, so what the fuck's going on, Felipe Lima? But Payton Talbott, what I did not expect, what I did not predict at all, was his ability in the grappling exchanges. He did such a good, and why I think it came to that was Felipe Lima was going for some, not going for some dumb things, but I guess he was too, but he was just very much forcing it. he'd go for a takedown. It would be a good entry. Nothing would come from it. And instead of breaking apart, resetting, and by the way, he was landing a very strong 1-2 in the first round and took the first round because he was out striking Payton Talbott. Got out grappled in round 1. Not in the sense of, well, man, he had better positional control. Payton Talbott got on top and landed ground and pound. Felipe Lima was not doing anything on top in any dominant position. So I thought Felipe Lima won the first round just off striking, and he got a good trip at the end. But I thought Felipe Lima edged out the first, right? So we see that, but Payton Talbott was doing a good job of just staying calm. He would fight in these grappling exchanges, and when Felipe Lima would overcommit after missing the first shot, he would go for a second one. It would be way too obvious. Payton was like, "Come on, bro, you just fucking shot a takedown. Of course, I'm ready to defend the second one." And instead of just defending the second one, he would turn it into reversal and get on top, work into these top north-south Pride Month positions or full mount he was getting multiple times. And by the way, the reversal in the third round from Felipe Lima to get out of, not reversal to get on top, but get out of full mount was very impressive. Still got into another bad position, but that was the story of this fight. Round 2 takes place, and this fight just slowly slips out of Felipe Lima's hands. You see him get slowly more desperate, going for these spinning back fists or these even worse timed takedowns. And sure, they worked here and there, but the longer this fight on, the further they were from reality, and the further they were from making sense. Payton Talbott landed some nice big shots in between. His 1-2, or specifically his straight on its own, was working well. Because I think Felipe Lima was reading too much behind the jab, so having to throw it just as a straight was working. I think Felipe Lima was also having problems with Payton Talbott's power. It was making him respect it not way too much yet, respected the right amount, but then he didn't know what to do after respecting Payton Talbott's power. The spinning wheel kick from Payton Talbott in the third round was very nice, impressive too, because he was catching Felipe Lima backing up from that same side, and so it's like, fuck it, he's on the fence, throw it. Where is he going to back up? No head movement when you're against the fence other than ducking. Did not duck, took the wheel kick to the head, and yeah, Payton Talbott was just ahead in the more impressive position, in the more cooler things, kind of aura farming, smiling from top position, and I think Payton Talbott's back. I saw a cool interview with him talking about some more niche things. Oh, and I feel so parasocial when I see that shit. So I'm right back on the Payton Talbott hype train. Moving on to the prelims. There's two things in this fight. First of all, Jacobe Hermansson's dead. Rest in peace, my brother. But other thing, how did Gregory Rodrigues get cut that bad? Like, what the fuck? Jacobe Hermansson was jabbing him. You need scar tissue removal surgery, my man. Like, how are you cutting up this easy over and over and over? But yeah, Jacobe Hermansson was out doodle bobbing him, out touching him up from the outside, right? A nice jab here, a nice straight there. He had a really nice GSP Superman punch to like a comment. I'm like, the craft might be back. I was trying to be like, what the fuck did I pick Gregory Rodrigues? This might be the dumbest pick of my career. It was not. Jacobe Hermansson stayed fighting. Gregory Rodrigues stayed fighting, stayed patient, and I was like, man, just fucking let it go. Why are we staying patient? Boom! Jacobe Hermansson, the way Herb Dean, I think, could have gotten there a little faster. The way he fell, his head bounced so bad, and we got the biggest caveman. It was as if someone was described, land the heaviest fucking hammer fist you could imagine. It was the whole Zumba class. Raise your hands to the sky, bring them down to the ground, like full all the way up. Boom! Nearly made a hole in the canvas. Jacobe Hermansson was not. They brought some witchcraft to revive the corpse, but make no mistake, he is no longer with us. Holy, but in all realness, Jacobe Hermansson, hopefully his recovery goes well. It is kind of horrifying as when you see such nice guys like that too. It's like, what the fuck did Jacobe Hermansson do to deserve that follow-up shot? I think John Jones deserved to get dropped by Reyes and hit with a follow-up shot. MMA gods, what are we doing? I mean, maybe John Jones he's fighting his own demons. Oh, he has a hard enough life. But Gregory Rodrigues, wow, what a way to fucking cap off the prelims. Most of these fights were stellar. There were only two little stinkers in between there. We'll get to those. But moving on, Cebu City, kind of let down. Kind of sad. I mean, I can't say let down. I can more say, if you're a Jacobe Hermansson fan, you could say, oh, I was let down because he was fighting good in that fight, and then Jacobe Hermansson decides to make a big defensive error by backing up straight back, where it's not using any head movement to stay off the center line. Just kind of did it straight and got caught doing it over and over again. He was circling a lot, but then got caught going straight. In this fight, there was 26 seconds and he gets KO'd. There's not much reading, and I know. It's the game, right? You get hit with one shot, you go down. But this is past that. This is not you get hit with one shot, you go down. You get hit with a fucking knee to the head. There's not much complaining to that. It's like you duck into a knee and you're dead. And sure, it's one of the things where, who was it? The guy from last week, the guy who got 100K bonus, Sadikov. It was one thing when Sadikov got that first Dr. Stoppage, was like, okay, he cut him up bad, but Dr. Stoppage, who cares? When you do it again, it's like, okay, this guy's breaking people's face. And the same thing with Jose Delgado. That first knee, really well timed, but you don't get too many perfectly timed knees in a career. Now though, it's like it might be his fucking special move. It might be his 5-star. Like when they add this man to UFC 5, it might be his 5-star move. Like his knees are perfect. He got Hyder Amil back, and Hyder Amil was doing this outside, kind of blocking the big hooks guard. Got caught, grabbed behind the fence, grabbed behind the head, pulled into a knee. Drops pretty bad. He was out from the shot, elbow. He's out even longer. The ref steps in, and Hyder Amil has a very, very fast recovery time. Wakes up and goes, man, that was a bad stoppage. And even says after that was a bad stoppage. But in hindsight, if you're doing that to your opponent and you finish him like that, and the ref pulls you off, if you're on the winning side of that, you're not calling that a bad stoppage. I'm sorry. That's only bad stoppage because it happened to you. I wanted you to win, and Philippines stand up, and there will be a Hyder Amil round. There will be a Hyder Amil season 2. Season 1 has ended. Season 2 will come out even harder. You thought Squid Game season 1 was good? This is about to be Squid Game season. I haven't seen season 2, so hopefully Squid Game season 2 is good. But Hyder Amil will come back from this. Jose Delgado, though. Why the fuck did you call out William Gomez? You just beat the guy who beat William Gomez. I mean, if you want an easy win, sure. But I think Jose Delgado, you could throw him an early step up and I wouldn't be mad. Like, have him versus Tebe Mariscal, fucking Neanderthal 3-head who pushes an insane pace, versus Jose Delgado, crazy power, and a guy who likes to time people who like to rush in. Have them fight. Winner that gets a ranking no matter what. Winner that fight gets ranked 15, actually. Fuck that. We're getting some really exciting featherweights, and I want them pushed fast. Sure, some will fall and not make the mark, like Hyder Amil, who, by the way, fell, but I don't think is done for, even though it was a pretty bad pretty nasty knee, right? These guys can recover. These guys are young in their game. Not saying to ruin them and put them against the next fucking 100-0 domination guy who's won every fight, but give these guys some step ups. They're entertaining. Viviane Araujo versus Tracy Cortez. You want to go fight of the night? Want to go fight of the year? How about fight of the? Dude, I can't even fake it. Like, I start talking less entertaining when I talk about this fight. Viviane, what's on my foot? Viviane Araujo. You see, she was mad after the fight. Mad for what? Mad for what? You landed 9 significant strikes in round 1, or was it by round 2? You landed 22 significant strikes in the span of 15 minutes. So that's just over. That's like a 1.3, 1.4 strikes a minute, if my math's somewhat right. 1.3 to 1.4 significant strikes a minute. And you're mad? Mad at what? Yourself? How about you're there and fix it? What, mad you didn't know the fight was gonna, like, what the fuck are you mad about? Fight. You landed 29. You got a reversal. You did something successful, but still did fuck all somehow. You are ranked above Tracy Cortez. You did not fight off that ranked spot at all. I by the way, the fights I'm getting the maddest about, I pick right. Because it's like, how the fuck are you this dumb? I'm sorry. Well, I think I know, but I'm not gonna say what. No, that's fucked up. But Tracy Cortez just walks through her. Not much. I mean, when I say not much fight back, not much fight in general. There was points of like a full minute there. Whoa. There's like a good spinning elbow in round 2 from Tracy Cortez, and off that spinning elbow I went, that's a run for Cortez. One big moment. That's all that. One big moment. How about there was 0 in the first? So I think one big moment in the second might have even won the first 2 for Tracy Cortez. With how little was happening, I felt like. But yeah, fight to fight. Not all of them are gonna be perfect, especially surrounded by gems that we got tonight. So many early, like look at this. Okay, 4 minutes, sure, but then 26 seconds. 55 seconds. Then you see, it's me later on the card, right? 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Like, there's some early nice finishes. But moving on, I don't care about that fight. Terrance McKinney. I was so 50-50 on this fight, and I'm so glad MMA experts persuaded me to pick Terrance McKinney. Like I'm talking like it's in person for me. No, like I watched this video and it persuaded me. Not anything really happened on the feet. Terrance McKinney timed Viacheslav. I can't speak. It's been a long day of talking. I'm gonna call him Slavakos. Terrance McKinney timed a really nice leg kick from Slavakos into a takedown, into a Darce Anaconda, whatever that position is. Did not look too far in the start of the submission attempt, but it slowly got worse and worse, and then changed. That's why it says 2 sub attempts. Changed into a guillotine, into mount, and again fired out of the takedowns. Holy shit! Viacheslav fight out of the submission attempt. Slavakos fought every fight. That was Marab, Ricky Simone. He was kipping up his feet like crazy. Fucking fighting every limb he had. One arm was trapped, and he was still freaking the hell off bottom position, hoping every chance he could to get out of it. He couldn't. I feel pretty bad for him because he's had entertaining fights every time, but Terrance McKinney was that step up, and the stylistic matchup was there for Terrance McKinney. His grappling is so much further ahead against a guy who is an amazing striker. Sure, and kickboxing, sure. He wins this fight, but this is MMA. And there's no level of wrestling you could like. Terrance McKinney went and was wrestling in high school, college. There's no amount of wrestling you could do to catch up to a guy who's been doing it since adolescence. Those are very important formative years. We see Joshua Van. Sure, he's only 5 years into training, but when you look into it, it's like, okay, but he started training at 17. Now he's 23. That math. Now he was training at 18. Now he's 23. Those are 5 very important early knowledge years. And if you get really good teachers ahead of you, fuck, that's a lot of good info you're taking in, and with a very juicy, unfilled brain. And that's why we see a guy like Joshua Van doing so good against Royval. The next gen is here. And I love how I'm talking about it against 2 low-level lightweights. But aside from that, the next gen is here. The next gen of learning is here. And Slavakos was, in hindsight, especially never going to catch up to that level of wrestling. Early prelims, only 2 fights left. The odds, dude, I was a little scared. Jacobe Smith grappling, I couldn't tell if he was like his grappling, sure, 100% there. There was no point when he was on top. I was going, oh, Niko Price might armbar him here. I was going to pull a page out of Lucas Tracy's book. The Dodo Bird was fucking getting hunted to extinction tonight. Gets rocked early, gets rocked late in the round. A lot of it also with Niko Price seemingly is off balance. He's fucking flying all over the place every time you hit him with a punch. Gets rocked early, gets put into guard, and elbow after elbow after elbow from Jacobe Smith. They get up. Jacobe Smith looks a bit tired, but he's just seemingly playing it safe too. First time he's on a pay-per-view in front of a big crowd. It's just a lot for a guy to handle. And he learned a lot from this fight too, but ends around landing a good jab. Niko Price thinks he hurts him with a big punch, but Jacobe Smith's just backing up. Counters. Head kicks him too. Round 2 starts. More of the same. Back and forth. Not much happening on the feet. Jacobe Smith gets on top again and is just outworking him. And Niko Price starts to scramble heavy. And I was getting impressed. Like, damn, how did Niko Price get out of bottom position here into a kind of a back position? But then that back position is very heavily favored to a guy like Jacobe Smith, Oklahoma State wrestler. Very good wrestler, right? Worked from that back position. Niko Price goes for another scramble that turns into north-south. That turns into an immediate back take from Jacobe Smith into a rear naked choke. It's over the second that rear naked choke is in. And it's funny, the rear naked choke is in. Niko Price taps. Jacobe Smith doesn't let go instantly, and Niko Price pulls the hand. I think maybe pull the hand, then tap when the hand pulling doesn't work. Like, I'm sorry. No fighting, and I know maybe it's just for the paycheck. You have 10 kids, sure, do whatever, and you're fighting minus 2,100 favorite. Maybe sure it's safer to ride it out, but it's just sad to see. Like a little fight, a little maybe not an instant tap, and I know that choke was in, and it was a very nice immediate scramble. But the greats are fighting. I'm sorry, the greats are fighting. I don't care who you are, they'll go out. The greats are fighting it, but. Impressive win from Jacobe Smith. A lot to improve on, but he still has all that room. He has a lot of room. He has the world in his hand. It is just on him how he approaches it. Spoken like a true poet. I mean, I do have 2 degrees in philosophy. Moving on to this fight. I mean, Renato Diniz, they did pull Alvin Hines out of the gas station on the way to the T-Mobile Arena, and we saw it. No, I'm joking. Alvin Hines put up a lot better of a performance than I thought he would. Not to discredit the guy at all. Also, the way he fought the 3rd round, and Renato Diniz did get a break too. I'll break down this fight a bit round by round. Renato Diniz did a good job of working off his jab. Alvin Hines' face looked like a bloody mess at the end of round 1. Cut over the eyebrow, messed up nose, bleeding all over the place, swollen up eye, all of it. His jab, his check hook. Those were his big tools, and the leg kick a bit. Round 2, more of the same jab, check, hook. He's going in the motion, working the same motions. And now he's dropped his stance, more of a karate stance, and he's using his movement a lot more in round 2. Round 3, movement's not all the same. Alvin Hines targeting the body with the straight, looking for a lot of big strikes. And round 3, I think he even strikes him. No, I made that up, but it looked pretty close, and he took round 3, I thought. Big round for round, and Alvin Hines shouldn't be having to debut against Renato Diniz on short notice. I feel bad. It's like a 7-0 prospect who maybe could be something. He's a bit sloppy now, but give it these heavyweights money and time and fucking will maybe, and they'll do a lot more than fight Renato Diniz, a glory kickboxer who's gonna outbeat you because he's not as sloppy. And like, I don't know, Alvin Hines, this isn't the opportunity you should get. I think he's gonna get another opportunity in the UFC. He's proven. He's UFC caliber. He's able to throw down. And he's able to beat up fat fucks like the other guys in the UFC. I think he's better than a lot of the heavyweights in the UFC. I think he might even be ranked material. Maybe. Depends on who's in that bottom 15. I mean, if Salsa Boy's up there, Alvin Hines might be in the next go. Let's be honest. But kind of impressed with Alvin Hines for how I thought this was going to go. I thought it was going to be Renato Diniz masterclass knockout, but solid performance in Alvin Hines. Tough little chipmunk, if I do have to say. Now, how did I do on picks? 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 4-1, 4-1, 5-1, 6-1, 7-1, 7-2, 8-2, 9-2. 9-2! That's pretty good. And, dude, I would have felt so good if I picked Joshua Van, but I feel like Royval had to be the pick, right? But damn, I picked Hyder Amil because I glazed too hard, let's be honest. But amazing card. Every international fight week will probably live up, but the living up to this extent was otherworldly on this card. I am so happy with how it went. But thank you for watching. That has been my full card breakdown and recap and reaction and all the other buzzwords I can say. But peace out.